And so what is the point of connecting with the spirits of weather? What is the point of asking for rain? Simply so your crops can grow? Simply to nourish your body? Or is there something deeper yet that goes behind this? Some of the most highly protective spirits that you can ever work with are bird spirits. As with all groupings, classifications, or categories, there will be specifications within each spectrum, right? But when you spend any amount of time with nature, what you begin to notice is there are certain bird spirits that act almost as watchdogs. They are going to be very, very curious about who you are and what you're doing in the space. And it continues to impact me deeply to realize that we have relatives across the species that exist in one climate and another. So for example, there is a spotted towhee which has been connecting with me as I came into this space today. And even though they are physically different looking than the spotted towhees on the West Coast in the state of Washington, they still have the same call. They still have the same patterns and the same genuine features, even though they are adapted for the specific locations that they live with, right? And this is what becomes important when we look at teachings from the animal and plant realm, from the mineral kingdom to the human existence. When we move and when we transplant ourselves from one location to the next, it's more than just culture shock that we experience. It is weather. You can see behind me the clouds that are gracing the skies this morning in a region of the world that typically doesn't have much rainfall. And this opens up a conversation that goes very deep into everything that this channel, that the work I do is about. It is about connection to your heritage and your lineage as it relates to relationship with the land, relationship with this world that we call home. My personal journey that I have lived and learned is highly activated for both my Norse and my Native ancestry. When I look back through those lineages on each side, what I find is the common thread is relationship to the land. In the Norse traditions, we have a practice called utisata, which is sitting with the land. This is an intentional removal from industry. It's an intentional removal from civilization. It is quieting all of the distractions that occupy our minds and really connecting in with the pulse of life. So Utisata is not your typical weekend excursion. It's not a vigorous hike, and it isn't even a camping trip. Utisata is an intentional building of relationship and connection with the spirit of place. And that is something that we will talk about much deeper as we go forward. My aim right now, as I am bringing all of this together, is to keep each of these videos at around 10 minutes so that they are easily digestible and can be stacked for depth, depending on an individual's desire. So from my Norse ancestry, we understand the concept of Utisata. From my Ogallala ancestry, we understand the concept of Humbleche, which is crying for a vision. And if you have spent any time with this culture, you will have heard this word before. There is a long-standing history in the United States, in the North American continent, of this particular culture and how they have fought many hardships to protect their practices and the land that they call sacred. So Hombleche, this crying for a vision, it has the same characteristic hallmarks of Utiseta. Essentially, we are quieting all of the distractions, and we are tuning into something very deep within us. Our bodies are amazing because they have all of these sensory states, and yet within them is a pulse, is a channel, is a connection to everything that moves beyond the limitations of the physical world. How cool is that? And this brings me to another thing that I want to briefly talk about, the conversation around shamanism. So I will go deeper into this in its own video, but for right now, we want to understand the value of shamanistic practices as carrying this understanding of moving between worlds. Not only, as I have said, moving your physical body from one geographic location to the next and adapting and building relationship and harmony with the land that you live with, but worlds that far exceed physical parameters. And this is the hallmark of shamanism. The other thing that my northern ancestors have taught me is a practice of weather sadir. So sadir is the term that is used in the northern Germanic tribes that were heathens, connecting with the heath in order to activate their spiritual understandings and connection with the gods. Weather sadir was very important when it came to navigating the seas for these ancestors in my lineage. It became very important for understanding how to work with and honor the resources that were given at any given time of the year. And with my North American native ancestry, if you have spent any time looking at this lineage on your own, researching on your own, or living it, you will know that there have been stories of rain dances, right? There have been concepts in these cultures of praying, connecting with spirit for the very things that you need in order to live. And these are the kind of things that are very important to start being curious about, because when we look at it from a perspective of, oh, it's very nice, neat mythology that is dead and is storytelling only, and then we look at our modern day practices that attempt to produce on demand not only the things that we need, but the things that we want, right? We begin to understand that there is a severe imbalance in the way that we operate in contemporary times as a whole, collectively speaking. And so what is the point of connecting with the spirits of weather? What is the point of asking for rain? Simply so your crops can grow? Simply to nourish your body? Or is there something deeper yet that goes behind this? For that, we will go into depth in another video. As of right now, we will bring this to an end, and I will invite you to check out Frequency. This is my community space where we will be honoring sound ceremonies. We will be honoring the traditions that connect with the earth and help us come back to that way of living. It is a space where there is roundtable conversations for you to have a voice and to be talking about things that matter to you. And there will be exclusive or first access masterclasses that dive deep, deep, deep into these topics that I am grazing the surface of here. I am Jessica Radiance, and this is the Rune Weaver. Until we meet again, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and take a moment today to appreciate the land that you are with.